Hello, I decided to come back to the carpet and just start a new season of Books and Beats. I'm probably going to configure it slightly differently, but I thought I could pick up where I left off last time, which was that I was taking a break, I think, for a week. And during that week, I managed to read 4 books, which I hope to review on this channel. We'll see. And those 4 books were Never Let Me Go, which is actually a book that I started reading a very long time ago, like actually a few years ago, and then I just put it down. I couldn't finish it. So what I did was I made an incentive for myself, which was watching the movie. So I was like, if I can finish reading this book, I'll be able to go watch the movie. So I did that, and then I watched the movie afterwards. I was so heartbroken after reading this book. I felt so sad. In any case, really well written. Definitely very creative, and I feel like it's something that could happen if it doesn't already happen in real life, but that's conspiracy theory me. The next book that I read, yeah, and by the way, Never Let Me Go is by Kazuo Ishiguro. And then the next book that I read was by Zinzi Clemens, What We Lose. I thought that the way that this book was written, like the format, was quite interesting. I don't think I'd seen a book written in this format before, but she is South African, so there were a lot of really interesting points in there. The next book captured my heart. On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. And this book was just so beautiful. I think reading this reminded me why books are just so magical. I'll just leave it at that for now. And then after that, I read Black Girl Call Home. This is a book of poetry by Jasmine Mans. The initial thing that called me to this book was the cover. I mean, let's take a second for this cover. So beautiful. And then I got into poetry, and I actually watched this. I read this and listened on Audible at the same time, and I think that's what made this book, this collection of poetry, stick in my mind for as long and as deep as it did. And then because I read those books, I got inspired to buy more poetry. And the next book that I bought, a book of poetry, is Jericho Brown. And I actually think that I've seen Jericho speak in person. I studied at the New School, and I know that I think Jericho had been on a panel or presented some awards or won an award at the New School. I don't know. But when I saw the name, I was like, oh yeah, I recognize this name. So I got this book of poetry. I haven't read it yet. And then the next book of poetry, obviously, after reading Ocean Vuong, I was like, give me everything and anything that you write. I'm in. I'm sold. I'm a fan. And then because I was on my wave of poetry, I bought myself this collection of chapbook. Chapbooks. It's a chapbook set. Wow, my head is cut off. Wow. And basically this comes out every now and then. I need to look up how often this comes up, but it's basically a collection of poetry chapbooks by I guess up and coming poets from Africa. And I think what I'll do is I'll dive deeper into this, and then I will do a little thing about it on the channel, because I don't want to misspeak. I want to make sure that I am saying the correct information, because this is quite the collection. And actually, as you can see here, if you can see, these are actually all the chapbooks that are in there, and each is by a different author. So it's really a treat. And I actually had this in my cart for a very long time, and then I went on ABE Books and I managed to find a fairly in good condition version. So I got myself that. And then after that was obviously Christmas. I have a very contentious relationship with Christmas in the US, only because, let me not call it contentious, I think it's getting better now, but it's different, you know. There's a cultural difference, obviously, because I'm from South Africa and we celebrate Christmas in a very different way. Firstly, the big difference is that Christmas in South Africa happens in the summer. Christmas in New York is in December. So by default, the Christmas celebrations are going to look and feel different. Secondly, in South Africa, I felt like the focus on Christmas was on spending time with family and, you know, creating new memories and just eating good food and being outside and just being grateful. Whereas here, it feels more like focused on gifts, you know, and it makes sense because capitalism is a thing. people want to make sure that they make money, and one of the ways that you do that is by selling things. So it makes sense, but it is a different way of celebrating, and I'm still getting used to it. Having said that, this past Christmas was the best. I mean, all the Christmases have been good, but the gifts that I received this Christmas were amazing. My husband really pulled it off. So, number one, excuse me. This had been in my cart for the longest time. I actually wanted to buy this when I was still studying at the new school because, long story short, which maybe I'll talk about when I do this review, Ntone, who is the founder of Chimurenga, came to the new school. He had received an award from the Vera List Center, and this was one of the outcomes or the outputs of that engagement. And I think, again, so that I don't misspeak and I make sure that I am not leaving things out, I will leave the more information about this later. I have been feeling so precious about it that I haven't even opened it yet. But yeah, such a beautiful, beautiful gift. And yeah, more later. So basically this book is, sorry, can't help myself, is about Festag 77, which was known as the Second World Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture, which, you know, it sounds even mythological, like it's something that didn't happen, but it was a collection, festival of arts and culture, like it says, of, I think, the biggest in the world, of Black people from all different parts of the world. And so that's what made it an amazing experience and moment in time. But anyway, I'll talk more about that on the day that I review this book. And then, okay, obviously this is Books and Beats, so I'm also going to talk about the music side of things. I received, drum roll, this Sade This Far. What is this? A vinyl set of every single vinyl that Sade has ever come out with. Can you see that it's still in plastic? Because there's a part of me that's like in disbelief, but I'm going to pop it out this fall and this winter. She's gonna get a lot of play. So yeah, was very, very happy to be receiving those gifts. Like, I was in disbelief. And yeah, so those are the Christmas gifts that I received. I received a lot of other things, but these are the two things that I wanted to talk about because I just thought, oh my God, mind-blowing. And also are relevant for this channel, Books and Beats. And then the last thing that I want to share about is, obviously over the summer this year, I did a lot of interesting things. One of the things that I did was I went to the Blue Note Jazz Club for the very first time, and I got to watch Robert Glasper live. It was amazing. The Blue Note Jazz Club is an institution, historic, and I loved it. I loved every moment of it. You get to go there, sit down, have a drink, grab a meal, and listen to beautiful, good music. And I feel like it is about the music, the way that it's set up, and I really liked it. Upstairs they have a shop, a Blue Note Jazz music paraphernalia, whatever shop, where you can get merch from the artist who's on residence. Would you call it that? I guess so. Or any other Blue Note merchandise. And so recently I actually went to go see Abdullah Ibrahim, formerly known as Dollar Brand. And I had the absolute pleasure of actually meeting him, getting to share a few words. You know, I mean, it's still a pandemic, and he is in, you know, in his older age, and I think that in general you want to make sure that your health is fine and well. So I had my mask on, he had his mask on, but I still got to meet him, and I'm very happy about that. So I bought his record, and I also managed to get it autographed. So I feel like I have a piece of history over here, and I'm just so happy about it. So that's one big thing that happened this summer that I really, really enjoyed, and I'll definitely be going back to the Blue Note Jazz Club. I actually also went to Dizzy's Jazz Club. I don't think it's called Dizzy's Jazz Club. Anyway, it's Dizzy's. It's a club, and they play jazz in Midtown. And my friend Linda was actually playing there. Linda Skakani. I might be able to splice in some little clips here. He was playing with Zvelake, who I also met when Linda did his recital at the new school. I also got to see Lisedi, who is amazing as well, amazing musician, also perform with Linda. So it was just like a beautiful coming together of brilliant minds, and I feel like I have brothers in them. So that was wonderful. Forgot to mention, when I went to the Blue Note Jazz Club, I also got a tote bag, because I just feel like it's an institution, and it's like it's not a waste to get like a vinyl bag holder, because vinyls are a very specific size. Anyway, it's 10 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up there. This is the warm-up. The next video that I hope to make is going to be sharing my collection of books that I've bought from the Heinemann African series, because African Writers series, excuse me, because I've been collecting those books because I feel like they're little treasures in the world, and it's just such an interesting snapshot of African writing. And so that's what is going to happen next. I feel like I'm a little tongue twisted today, but I'm happy to be back, and I feel like this is a good way to kick off the fall. I feel like this week was the first week of fall, and I really felt it. Mental health check-in. I'm doing well. I'm doing good. The fact that I'm back here is a really good sign. Summer was wonderful to me. I might do some little clips about that, not now, but at a later stage, because editing through or looking through all the items from the summer, all the little clips and videos and photos, is time consuming. I understand why people actually make content at the time that it's happening, for this very reason. But in any case, I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be back, and I hope you are all doing well. Please let me know, how was your past season? I know that a lot of people who watch this are from South Africa or the Southern Hemisphere, so how was winter? And for those who are in the Northern Hemisphere, how was summer? Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day further. Bye-bye.